Greetings. My name is James Howard. I direct a writing center. I love medieval and early modern literature. I love games, right over here. And I'm going to tell you a story today from my own childhood titled Squirrel's Day. So I was in the first grade. I'd woken up and gone out to the bus stop on a cold winter day. And I was the first one there, and I look down on the ground and I see a fuzzy patch. It's not just fuzz, and I'm sorry to say this is one of those stories where what I found ended up being dead. It's a squirrel. And so I looked at it and I thought to myself, this is something that I want to grab. Why? Because I'm a peculiar first grader, and also because I know at school we have a science table. And at that science table, we are allowed to show off fossils, rocks, bones, other cool things. It's basically, in my mind anyway, your one-way ticket to nerd heaven. So, I want to get all that sweet praise for bringing in something that's sciencey. And what is more scientific than a dead body? So, I gather it up in my backpack before the other kids show up. We get on the bus. I start showing kids on the bus. They seem kind of interested and cool with it, and thankfully, on my end, the bus driver doesn't notice. So, we get to school. I immediately go to my classroom. It's still early, so Mrs. Wyatt, my teacher, is somewhere else. I offload this corpse onto the table. I notice that there's an hand coming out of the eye. It looks kind of cool from my first grade brain's perspective, and I'm not alone. Once other kids start trickling in from their buses, they start seeing, and we form a crowd around the table. Now at some point it's like, all right, I've seen enough of this. This is no longer new to me, and I go sit at my desk, and it's around this time that Mrs. Wyatt walks in. And she can see that there's a crowd around the science table, but she can't see what's there. And obviously she wanted to know what the science was, again, in my head. So she walks over, and then she sees that there is poor, fuzzy, dead squirrel corpse lying there. And to her credit, this poofy-haired woman maintains her composure, and she says, "Who brought this in?" And I, with pride and delight at having delivered this wonderful body, say, me, I did it. And then her next question, almost without missing a beat, is, well, it's not a question. If any of you have touched this, you had better go wash your hands now. And so, to, again, my pride, almost everyone files over and starts washing their hands at the sink in the classroom. I wish this had like a funny ending, something suitable to me finally getting my accolades. I didn't get in trouble, though the teacher did have to talk to my mom. And the last that I saw of the squirrel is that it was put into a brown bag by an office administrator and carried outside. And so I have to imagine that in the name of science, that it received its due honors and respects, but I cannot tell you in actuality what happened to it. The only real moral I can derive from this story is that first graders will touch anything, especially if it's in the name of science. And in times like these, you should encourage yourself, and especially all the first graders you know, to wash their hands, because you never know what they're going to touch just because they're interested in it.